Trojan Felly, what's up, man? USCJ here. It's the top of the morning. It's the top of the morning. Listen, I hope everybody is getting ready to get up, get out, and make some things happen this morning. Listen, we got a couple of things to talk about today, and that is a big time offensive lineman, man. Listen, you guys already know there are some issues, or some areas, rather, not issues, but some areas that I felt like USC needs to address in the offseason via transfer portal. One of them is the offensive line. You guys already know we talked about that. Possibly a backup center. We want to eventually get a guy like Michael Ben Wailers in there and hopefully get him going. But I think Jonah Meinheim, the fact that he plays, he could probably pretty much play every position on the line. I think that guy can get in there and play guard. He could play center. He could play whatever you want him to play. And so I think that's what's eventually going to happen. But we want to talk about this guy. His name is Marcus Bryant. He's from SMU. He is a massive guy. I first saw it early yesterday from a guy, Matt Zentz from 24/7 Sports, that he posted that he was entering the transfer portal. So I want to talk about that. And then I also want to talk about Notre Dame. Somebody asked me a question, man. They said, Jay, what do you think about the new playoff? The committee just putting out a new playoff format. And somebody asked me if I can, let me see if I can get his name up. Somebody asked me if I can make some comments about it. And I said, sure, man, I could definitely make. I was initially going to make comments about it yesterday, but I knew that they were going to have another meeting, which really, coming to find out, the 14-team playoff is going to add 14 teams instead of 12 teams. So I really, excuse me, I really don't think it's that much of a difference right now that I could really address, except that this will be beginning in 2026. The current structure right now, which is the new one we'll talk about, it'll last for 2 years. So we'll talk about that. But let me get on Marcus real quick and talk about his information, because this guy, you see him here, he is absolutely a massive guy. Real quick, I want you to listen to something real quick before I actually get into him. This is him bench pressing 225 42 times. I had a 225 challenge I did the other day with some guys on the YouTube. I did it 20 times, but this guy did it 22 times more than me. Look at this, 42. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, All right, so this guy, man, he did 225 42 times. I mean, it's absolutely, it's really ridiculous the amount of times that he did this, but this guy is an absolute grown man, and he is coming from SMU, standing at 6'8", 318 pounds. This guy, Marcus Bryant, as I stated, entered the portal. He had 29 starting games. He started 29 games in his 4-year career. Now, you guys are saying, Jay, how can he enter the portal? Well, you guys already know the only way you can enter the portal if your coach left and you got 30-day window to do that, or like him, he's a grad transfer. This is a very experienced guy, grad transfer. Now he has the opportunity to move and groove and go ahead and hit the portal. So you're talking about a guy that has all experience. So the question is, this year he appeared in 13 games. In 2023, he earned all AAC first team honors. He allowed just 1 sack this year. So you're talking about a very, very experienced guy. You look, if this guy were to come to USC, look, he's automatically going to be the plug-in guy. I mean, we know that. And how would our offensive line stack up? I'm going to do the same thing with our offensive line that I do now, with the defensive line. I'm not going to make any projections, but just to throw some names out there. Of course, you guys know we got Jonah Meinheim. Okay. Will he play center? Will he play left tackle? Well, this guy's a left tackle. I think he could come in and play left tackle, but I'm not going to name any spot. I think Elijah Page can play a left tackle as well. This guy may be versatile enough where he can play right tackle. But I know, like a guy like Emmanuel Pregna, I know for a fact that he's probably going to play guard. That's kind of where he's at with it. So it'll be just in my projection, you got somebody like Bryant, this guy coming in. You got somebody like Alani Noah who could come in and play. So but I think this will solidify our offensive line with two really two experienced guys, and Jonah Monheim and this guy Bryant here. I think this will absolutely do it up. And so can you imagine having a guy like 6'7" Elijah Page, maybe at the left tackle, maybe this guy Bryant. I'm just saying at the right tackle. And then you got a huge guy like Emmanuel Pregna. I'm just throwing some names out there. And then you have a center, maybe Jonah Monheim. I mean, I'm not going to name any starters, but I'm just throwing names out there as to the projected, how this could possibly look. USC appears to be going after this guy, and I think it's straight up go time, man. You guys can drop those comments. You guys can tell me what you think about him. Like I said, 6'8", 318 pounds. USC absolutely needs to get him. And as I stated, Matt Zinch was the one who reported it. However, I've seen later on in the evening, Scott Schrader actually reported that there's now mutual interest. So, look, man, I was going to do a video about this anyway when I seen Matt Zinch report this earlier in the day on Twitter. Didn't come back later on, and now it's mutual interest. Listen, we got to snag him. Look, we got to get him. And so, look, man, you guys drop those comments, man. You guys tell me what you think about him. That is Bryant from SMU, big-time offensive lineman, very experienced, man. So you guys drop those comments. You guys let me know what you think about him. Now, we got to address the playoff situation, and let's first talk about Notre Dame, man. This is Notre Dame right here, and the new playoff structure is a 5+7. And somebody asked me, Jay, what are your thoughts on it? Can you address this? And I said, absolutely, my man. And the way it is now, this playoff structure now, the 7+5, the new college football playoff will put the 4 highest ranked conference champions as seeds 1 through 4. 1 through 4 will be the conference champions. And then that means that even if Notre Dame is ranked number 1, the number 1 team in the country, they would get the number 5 seed. So you know what that means? They don't get a bye. Never, ever will they get a bye. And this is why I think Notre Dame hand is going to be forced. You guys remember when I talked about Notre Dame probably like last year sometime when all the conference alignment stuff was going on, and I said that Notre Dame hand is probably going to be forced. And, I feel like that even more so now. Notre Dame hand is about to be straight up forced, and they about to be lost in the sauce. And listen, Notre Dame's record from a playoff standpoint, they're not, trust me, they haven't, I don't even think they've won a playoff game yet. And so, look, the last time Notre Dame won a national championship, I think it was 1988. Somebody hit me in the comments. You guys drop those comments. Let me know what you think. But Notre Dame hasn't won a playoff game or hasn't won a national championship since 1988. We're talking about over 30 years. So, look, man, they're sure not going to win a playoff game. They might lose in the first round every year. But I think if they were to get in the conference like the Big Ten, look, the ACC is lost in the sauce, okay? I think it's really a Big Ten and an SEC thing, and I'm going to show you why structure-wise. But let me read this real quick. That means if Notre Dame is ranked number 1 team in the country, they will get the number 5 seed, requiring them to win 4 straight games. Listen, they will never win 4 straight games. You guys already know it. It's hard to do. But listen, even if we get the fourth team, maybe the 4th team, 3rd team in the Big Ten, we'll still probably be in a better position than a team like Notre Dame, man. But right now, this guy, I'm about to show you this guy. He is an absolute hater of all haters. I've had to, they got a YouTube channel. I've had to go in there, jump in their comments, man, and kind of tell them a couple of things that I totally didn't agree with, and how they were completely lost in the sauce. But his name is Chip Peterson. You'll see him. He has a YouTube channel. But right now, this is what he's projecting for next year. And this is how I know he's lost in the sauce. But I'm going to give you, this is what he has projected. He has Georgia number 1 seed with the bye, Ohio State with the number 1 seed in the bye. This is as a format now, as we know it, going into next year. This is his projection, will be the playoff. Then he has Alabama against Penn State. Then he has Notre Dame against Michigan. Now, you know how he's lost in the sauce? He's projecting Michigan to be the number 4 team in the Big Ten. I don't think they are. I think they're losing too much. I think it took them Jim Harbaugh was there, what, 8 years? And I told you, 5 of those years they were lost in the sauce. It wasn't to the last 3 years till those players were developed, and then they started getting players. So I think that it's going to take Michigan. Michigan will have to rebuild, restack. How do you automatically assume that Michigan is going to be in the playoffs? I mean, you're not paying attention. They lose J.J. McCarthy. They lose the running back. They lose the head coach. They lose the offensive coordinator. Defensive coordinator, defensive analyst. They losing so many players, man. I mean, people, coaches, players, they're losing it all. How do you automatically assume that Michigan's going to play against Notre Dame in the bowl game? I don't think they're going to be in it. I think USC has a real opportunity to make the playoffs, but that's a whole nother story. And so they got Utah with the bye. I guess they're assuming that they're going to win the Big 12. And they got the ACC, Clemson, assuming that they're going to win the ACC. So they have a bye. And then they got Oregon. You see it there, Oregon versus Liberty as the number 5 seed against the number 12 seed. That's the at-large team, I guess. And then they got Texas against, which is crazy because they both in the SEC. That's, I mean, it's okay. So they got Texas against Ole Miss. So basically, you got 2 SEC teams playing against each other. What kind of sense does that make? That just show you. But the SEC has 1, 2, let's see, 3, 4 teams in it, and then the Big Ten would have 1, 2, 3 teams, 4 teams in it. So they expect them from the Big Ten: Oregon, Michigan. Well, he expects Oregon, Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State. And I totally believe USC can absolutely be in there next year. If this is the way it's going to go. You guys drop those comments, man. You guys let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the big boy, man. Marcus Bryant, man. He's a monster. It looks like USC is definitely in the mix for this guy, man. Hit me in the comments, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Until later on, listen, I'm out of here, man. Everybody stay blessed. Don't forget, make sure you get up, get out, and make some things happen. Until later on, fight on, fight on, fight on.